What up, Tag Nation? It's your boy ScooterRay. Hashtag Justice to Scoot. And I'm here again with another episode of that NXT.A.G. Now, I was telling y'all last week that NXT was heating up and they down there cooking. Sean and whoever he's partnered with on the TNA side, and if there's anybody else helping him on the NXT side, they down there cooking. Not just normal cooking, not gourmet cooking, not food truck or anything. They in there cooking. And tonight's episode is no exception. Because I'm telling y'all, when we get to Roadblock in 2 weeks, it's gonna be good. But the night starts off with Stephanie Vercour defending her Women's North American Championship against Carmen Petrovich. Of course, she has Ashante the Adonis with her. Come on now. This was Stephanie's first defense. She wasn't going to lose that belt. She was not going to lose that belt. Let's face it. Now, this was a good showcase for Carmen. I know Carmen did some things in TNA, I think, before the partnership became official. But this was kind of a showcase a little bit more for Carmen. You know, they still trying to build her up, still letting you know that, hey, she's here, this, that, and the third. But come on now. Stephanie's first defense, if she was going to lose it to Carmen Petrovich, no offense to Carmen, but come on now. But yeah, after she gets the dub, Julia comes out. Her and Julia have a face-off, and they was like, hey, Roadblock, New York City, you, NXT North American Champion Stephanie Vercour versus me, NXT Women's Champion, title for title. And it's been signed, sealed, and approved that at Roadblock in 2 weeks, title for title, Stephanie Vercour versus Julia. Oh, baby. Next up, we got a little segment between Ariana Grace, Santina Morella. They was talking, and then it led to Lola Vice saying, hey, she wants to get in on this action, whether it's on TNA, whether it's on NXT. And they was kind of like, whoa, wait. And then she was like, oh, you just mad that your family didn't teach you how to fight. So it's going to lead to one later on that night, which I'll get to at due time. Lexus King is walking backstage with his North American Championship. He walks past Oba, and he was like, yeah, I see you've been taking care of the system and Moose, but don't worry, I'm going to take care of him tonight when I get that when I get that X Division Championship up off of. So, next up, Heritage Cup Champion Lexus King is going against TNA's X Division champion Moose for that X Division championship. Now, I will say this. If this was y'all's first time watching the homie Moose do his thing, he was doing his thing tonight. But I also appreciate, due to the fact that it was in Lexus's hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio, they let them legit have a match. It was no squash. It wasn't a one-sided affair. They legit had a match. So much so that Lexus even hit the coordination. It's just that Moose kicked out. Lexus tried to go for it again. Moose reversed. Eventually ended up hitting that spear. That was it. But Moose was showing out. And I appreciate the fact that them giving him that showcase, especially on NXT and WWE. Because when I'm telling y'all, I am enjoying this partnership. I am enjoying this partnership. Then we hear the music of the ruler of NXT, Obafemi. He comes out and he's like, hey, It seems like everybody want us to have this match, so we gonna have this match. Roadblock, me versus you, and I'm defending the NXT Championship. Oh, baby. That's gonna be Beefy Boy Brawl. Or in the words of the great Big E, big meaty men slapping meat. Oh, baby. Then we get a segment of Sean Spears introducing us to his family, Brooks Jensen, Nico Vance, and now Izzy Dame. And he was like, hey, my family's complete. Tony D, you got yours, I got mine. And next week, I'm getting that North American Championship up off you so that way I can be complete. Mm, bars. Bars. Then we get a segment with well, it was Kalani on the bus. It was going to the arena, and Kalani was on the bus talking to Ariana. Ariana was asking her about Jada, and when Kalani was talking, Jada overheard Kalani mentioning her name, so they almost got into a scuffle on the bus. They almost got into it, but I do want to say that next week they did announce that we're finally going to get Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan because they've been just at it with each other. They have been just at it. And then we get the next match of nope. Sorry. Not the next match. But next segment, we finally hear from the Juggernaut, Jordan Grace. She comes out basically saying, you know, she just knew that she had to come to NXT, be here, and showcase my skills, showcase, you know, the next level. Then, of course, she gets interrupted by Roxanne Perez. And Roxanne was like, look here, I beat you before. I can do it again. It's cool and all that you hear it, but look, I'm about to go to Elimination Chamber. Excuse me. I'm about to go to Elimination Chamber, win that, go to WrestleMania, win the belt. Then she says I might come back and win the NXT Women's Championship for a third time. And you know what? Roxy Two Belts has a nice little ring to it. But Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez is definitely on the collision course for it to happen again. And most likely, Grace is going to come out on top of that one. Let's just face it. And then we get a segment where Trick Williams was back there and he was talking to Javon. And Javon was kind of like saying, like, hey, man, you know, we in the same boat. Relax, calm down. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me. Relax, we in the same boat. Calm down. This, that, and the third. And Trick was like, what you mean we in the same boat? And he's getting Javon. He was like, man, you worrying about getting your smile. I'm worrying about getting my championship back. So there's no way we in the same boat. And then they just kind of going back and forth. And Javon's like, oh, it's like that? And Trick was like, yeah, it's like that. Then eventually Ricky walks up, introduces himself, you know, Ricky Saints. I don't think Trick shook his hand, but he walked off. And then Ricky goes, I understand being angry, but damn, is everybody angry here? And Javon was like, man, look here, don't worry about it, man. We got to worry about our match tonight. Then we get Jada Parker backstage. She was talking her trash towards Kalani. Then eventually that did lead to what I mentioned earlier about their match being announced. But Jada got that intensity. Jada needs to be some champion at some point. I don't know if it's going to be North American. I don't know if it's going to be the NXT Women's. But I think it's that time pretty soon. I'm not saying it has to happen now. I know they're doing some things with the whole Julia and Stephanie, but I'll say in the summer, Jada needs some gold because I think she will be an entertaining champion, regardless of which one they give her. She will definitely be an entertaining champion. I'm sure of it. But then we get the NQCC's Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights versus TNA's tag team champions of Matt and Jeff Hardy. If you did not hear me correctly, TNA tag team champions Jeff and Matt Hardy was in the building. Oh baby. And like they dropped a stat, and it was like the Hardys been going away from TNA. I mean from WWE that long. Like they had their last match. I want to say I think they said April of 2019, and I was like, geez. But then I remember that Matt did join AEW during the pandemic times, and then a little bit later after Jeff was going out his contract, he eventually did show up. So it was like, my goodness, like that much amount of time has passed that fast, y'all. But yeah, and I can appreciate the fact that they had a pretty decent match with uh Born in Heights. Once again, it wasn't no hold on. Excuse me. It wasn't no squash. It wasn't no the Hardys was just dominating. It wasn't no there was no one-sidedness that literally Heights and Bourne had them a match, a legit match with the Hardy Boys. I was just like, let's go. Excuse me. Fraxium was sitting there ringside. After it was said and done, Fraxium, they had a face-off with the Hardy Boys, and they was like, hey, how about we make it official? At NXT Roadblock, y'all versus us for the TNA Tag Team Champions. Now, I don't know if y'all listening to what I've been saying. We are getting Fraxium versus the Hardys, Oba versus Moose, and Stephanie versus Julia, all at Roadblock. And this is a TV show. This ain't a PLE. This is NXT TV. We getting this. My goodness. Then you got the D'Angelo family. They had a little segment about, where Tony D has been because he finally showed back up. And the fact that he's taking on Spears, and they was like, you're not 100%. Should you be taking on Spears and things of that nature? But hey, we shall see what happens. But yeah, like I mentioned, we're definitely getting Spears versus Tony D for that North American Championship. Then we get a segment of Sol Ruka and Zarya are in like the trainers area talking. And then the women's champion of the United States, along with her chief her chief security, Chelsea Green and Piper, come in, and they kind of had a little back and forth with Sol and Ruka to where Chelsea wasn't paying attention, and she was telling Piper just go ahead and agree, do whatever. But next week we're getting a tag match between Chelsea and Piper versus Sol and Zarya. Yep. Then we get that match between Ariana Grace, Lola Vice. They was giving Ariana some hits in because this is the first time both women been on TV in a minute. Like Ariana, I think when she got injured, I know she was doing more stuff in TNA, being a liaison. And I'm trying to remember Lola's true last match on NXT, but yeah, this been a while since we've seen both of these women truly on NXT like that. And yeah, Ariana got her hits in, but ultimately it led to Lola knocking her out. Then we cut to little segment backstage where we saw that the quartet tentatively, because they still have no name, we still have not been introduced to these four, but they beat up some more people and left them just laying out in the back. So yeah, excuse me, sorry about that. And left them out in the back, and that's pretty much all we got of that quartet. Eddie Thorpe had a segment, and he was basically talking about how I'm here in Cincinnati, Ohio. This used to be the land of my people until it was taken, and they moved us out west, and all of this and all of that, and the fact that if Trick wants to do this again, and however how he wants to do this, but by all means, let's do it. And you let me know when you want to do this, Trick. You let me know. Then we get to our main event of the night. Wesley teaming up with Ethan Page versus Javon Evans and that boy Ricky Saints. I'm loving his entrance. I'm loving his music. It's kind of an offshoot slash remix of the music he had in AEW. He looked great, y'all. Ricky looked great. He looked healthy. He looks good. He wasn't trying to overdo it, trying to show out or anything. Ricky was just being absolute puns. I got him. He was being absolute and fairly good match. Uh, I'm truly intrigued to see Wesley going forward because now they made him heel, they paired him with Tyson and Tyreek, and I'm kind of intrigued what's going to happen with Wes going forward. It just seems a little just. Excuse me, sorry about that. He just seems a little just like I'm just there. I'm just there. I'm just here. So it's kind of interesting to see. I'm kind of intrigued to see what's going to happen with Wes. Because it seemed like at some point he may have been in that world title picture. And of course, that was before Oba got the belt and everything. Because I know with the Iron Survivor and everything. But I'm very intrigued to see Wes's trajectory, considering it was pretty high. But yeah, Ricky looks good. Ricky looks amazing. Now, do I see him being the one potentially dethroning Oba to be champion? I don't know. I don't know. Because it also makes, because also I'm putting Ricky kind of in that same boat Dizzle was putting Jordan Grace in. How long are they going to be there? Like, what's the true countdown clock of Ricky Saints? And, of course, Jordan Grace. So, it'll be interesting to see how far they, take Rick, how far Ricky goes in NXT. Like, does he stay a full year? Is it just a few months? Like, it'll be interesting to see how long Mr. Saints is going to be on NXT. But yeah, Ricky and Javon gets the dub. I mean, come on now. It was Ricky's first match. What did y'all expect? What did y'all expect? But yeah, they get the dub. Ricky got a chance to flex his muscle, show off for the crowd a little bit and let them know that, hey, the revolution is here and your boy is ready and your boy is feeling absolute. But pretty much that's it. That was NXT. It was a fairly good episode. Like I said, you had the Hardys back on NXT / WWE TV since 2019, which it was like mind blowing that it's been that long since both of them been in WWE. You had, like I said, the Oba and Moose face off. After Oba had a pretty good showing and a pretty good match with Lexus. Stephanie handling business against Carmen, which Her next match is booked with Julia in 2 weeks. Most likely, like I said, we're going to get Jordan and Roxanne to run it back. So, excuse me. Roadblock is going to be interesting because after Roadblock, the next event will be Stand and Deliver. So we will definitely have to be doing some building because they'll have a good month. It'll be a good month in between Roadblock and Stand and Deliver. And I really want to know how it's going to look for Stand and Deliver. I am really intrigued. I am really intrigued to see what that's going to look like for that solid month. And are we going to have some TNA involvement in Stand and Deliver? Like, I'm 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 intrigued. I really am intrigued. But yeah, next week on NXT, Kalani and Jada finally get a chance to get at each other. Tony D and Sean Spears for the North American Championship. Some more match building. Some more match building and moments that, we're going to get. But yeah, we're here. And once again, Roadblock. My goodness. The Hardys versus Fraxium. Oba versus Moose. Julia versus Stephanie. We're here. We are eating good on this NXT front. We're eating good in wrestling, period. But if you don't follow all of wrestling and you just follow here and there and things of that nature, we eating good over here in NXT. We are eating good in NXT. Shout out to Liv Dizzle, Jaeger Bombastic, Jugger9097. Thank y'all, Tag Nation, for tuning in. Whether you loved it or hated it, don't forget to rate it, thumbs up, thumbs down, like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button. After you do that, you got to tag the notification bell so you can be notified for any and all videos, things that get posted. Thank y'all for tuning in. Love one another, love yourself. Take care of one another and take care of yourself. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen of the Tag Nation and beyond, do not forget to tag out. Peace.